right. What's up, people? Hello, hello. How we all doing? I'm just making sure that my shit is working. Josh, if you are here, am I working on YouTube? Anyone? Can you let me know, please? What's up, everybody? We're going to talk about men's mental health today and some of the challenges men are facing. And if you're on Zoom, we're going to have a little mini support group here.
Jason, you're muted.
Thank you. Josh, am I on YouTube? Please check.
I am looking at it, see you. Hang on.
Refresh. Okay, what's up, everybody? We're talking about men. We men have some issues, don't we, guys? We do. Namely our conditioning. That is our biggest issue, is the box and the straitjacket around male conditioning, which tells you to suck it up, be a man, stop crying, stop acting like a woman or a girl, yada, yada, yada. It's all just horseshit. It's really bad. So we're here today to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to answer some questions. So if you got questions, you can certainly ask those wherever you are on social right now. You can also do that in Zoom, on our Zoom call, okay? All right. So Josh, yay or nay?
We are live on YouTube.
Okay, thanks. Okay, where do we start? So if you're on Zoom, drop a word in the chat how you're feeling right now. That would be great. What's up, Frank? You guys that have your videos on, that's always helpful for me. It's always nice to see men's faces. I know some of you are at work or you're driving. What's up, Todd? Nice. Okay. All right, so just to reset the context here, this is a men's support call. If you identify as a woman, you're certainly welcome to be here for a little bit. At a certain point, we're just going to go to Zoom with men only. And if you're a woman, you have a name that looks like a woman, you're going to get kicked off, okay? No offense, that's just the deal, all right? Men, so thanks for being here, guys. So if you're a man and you're here, I'm assuming you're interested in this conversation around your mental health and how do I be a man who is in integrity with me and so that I can get the connections I want in my life. That seems to be a big challenge for guys, is how do I be myself and get the love I want, get the relationships I want. Also, you're struggling, right? So many men are suffering. Wherever you are on the spectrum of your status in life, whether you feel like you're at the bottom or the top, you suffer, you struggle, and that's normal and welcome to being a person. And of course, if your skin color is different, your socioeconomic status is different, you have even bigger challenges. Your sexual orientation is different. You have much bigger challenges than I, as a white male, face. Irregardless, we all suffer, struggle, and I'm just grateful you're here and you care and you're about yourself and you care about your own health. So let me just cover a couple quick stats that some of you have heard that are kind of intense. So the number one cause of death in the United States among men is heart disease. Interesting. And I find that interesting because I think that speaks to how men are actually not connected to their hearts and to themselves. And a lot of men are trained as boys to be someone they're not. And your heart should be hurting if that's you. If you feel like you're not able to be yourself, if you don't even know yourself, if you don't know your purpose, you don't know, you feel like you can't be honest about how sensitive you are, how emotional you get sometimes, how hurt you feel inside, how you feel suicidal sometimes, how you're drinking too much perhaps. If you feel like you have to do that journey alone, you're going to suffer. And I think your heart's going to hurt. So it would make sense that men have heart disease. Second leading cause of death in men in the United States is cancer. Now, if you read Gabor Mate's new book, The Myth of Normal, you would see that one of the symptoms of childhood trauma and not being yourself and feeling disconnected is chronic illness, cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and so many other autoimmune diseases. Okay, so that book is a strong recommendation. That book, essentially that's what my book, Getting to Zero, is about. Now, Gabor's science, though, behind it is so much better. And he reinforces all the illness that we have in our world right now. And it's the illness of disconnection. When you're disconnected, it's supposed to feel bad. I spent 3 decades feeling pretty disconnected from myself, and that's why I had depression and anxiety and felt like shit, and why I was using so many drugs and alcohol. Okay. 1 out of every 10 rape victims is a man, believe it or not. 1 in 6 men report being molested as boys. Of course, we all know the majority of gun violence in the United States is perpetuated by men. The leading cause of death, I went over that. 1 male dies by suicide every 13.7 minutes. And there's 3.9 male deaths by suicide for each female death by suicide. I could go on, right? And a lot of people will say, well, men are in power, so why should we empathize with men being like suffering or struggling? I hear you. Yeah, white men in particular have a lot of power. And men still, that's a very small majority of people, and us men still suffer. And I often, how many of us, raise your hand if you know someone who's committed suicide in the last 10 years, a man, and it was like a surprise. It was like, oh my God, so-and-so committed suicide. Exactly. A lot of hands going up. Because men, again, they for whatever reason, and I'm saying it's conditioning, suffer in silence. And they do a lot of this kind of lone wolfing bullshit. We feel like we have to do it by ourselves. So thanks for not being that guy, because you're here and you're like, I want to connect with you, Jason, and other men perhaps, and get out of my lone wolfing at least for an hour or 15 minutes, a half hour. It's huge. So I just really respect that you're that kind of dude. Okay. So we'll get into some questions in a minute. And I want you to really look at, does your conditioning still run you? And by conditioning, remember, I mean what other people tell you you should be like as a man. And this is where gender conditioning is extremely problematic. Women have the same problem, men. If you are this way, good. If you are that way, bad. And it's a real trap. So I'm just curious if you are falling for that trap still. It's a big bummer. So, okay, what else did I want to say? At the end of this live stream and this Zoom call, I'm going to invite some of you guys, if you want to join a men's circle, men's group, I'm going to talk about that. So stay on the call if you're interested in hearing that. If you don't want to hear that, don't worry about it. Just click end meeting, leave whatever, okay? No big deal. All right. Okay. I also want to just mention to our partners, some of you are single, some of you are partnered. How can we rise up and be who we are so that we're the kind of partner that someone wants to be with? And I'm going to talk in heteronormative language because that's my world. How can I be the man and the father I want to be that my wife really enjoys being around? and not be just an asshole or a triggered, shut down guy that's distant, silent, withdrawing all the time? How can I be an awesome partner? And I love relationships as a path because you get to learn real quick, particularly in an intimate relationship, how other people see you, how your partner sees you. And some of us act like hurt little boys. Some of us act like angry asshole fathers. Some of us, there's a range about how we act in a partnership. And obviously I'm going to advocate for acting like an awesome human, please. We need more awesome humans in the world. There's a lot of us men out there, causing a lot of problems. So, yeah. How can we be better partners? Okay. And there's a few things women actually, again, the heteronormative language, women want from us guys. And I'm going to share those here in a bit. Okay. I polled 200 women a while back, and I got some pretty good information about what women actually want from us. And it could apply, obviously, to homosexual relationships, like queer relationships. It doesn't matter. It's what humans want, but it's, for whatever reason, I'm going to just use that language, what women want, okay? And the very first one, women, hold on. I'm going to scroll down. Okay. And then if you have a question, just raise your Zoom hand if you're on Zoom right now. You can also drop a question in on Instagram here or Facebook if you happen to be there. I'm going to pull up my Facebook world. Yeah. I'm like tracking multiple things here. So give me a sec. Okay. The very first thing women want, I'll just say this and then we'll take some questions, is women want you to be willing. And willing means willing to do the work, willing to look in the mirror, willing to take responsibility for your part in a fight. Willing. I don't think that's too much to ask personally. I can't believe how many men are out there like unwilling. It's just like letting their shame and defensiveness and assholeness run them. It's a real problem. Okay, Mike, what do you got?
Hey, Jason. Question is,
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with a pattern of behavior in my relationship where maybe my partner is upset with me or has a complaint, and I have this like trauma fear response come up, and I try to push through that and be there for her, but she'll start telling me that I'm still not present, that she doesn't feel me, and then I start to get like defensive and angry out of that place. And I've been doing therapy and talking about it, but just having a hard time like getting to the other side where I can like be emotionally present in the way that she's asking, and also like not be defensive, not have that fear response.
What does she say? Do you feel criticized or do you feel encouraged?
More so criticized.
Yeah. And give me an example of something that she says.
I don't know, like that doesn't work for me, or like I think I'm done, or
Okay. I think I'm done is problematic, right? Because that's a threat to the relationship. Yeah. Does she mean done with the relationship or done with the conversation?
Conversation.
Okay, that's not as big of a deal. I need to take a break, maybe would be a better, more effective way to say that for her. So you're asking like, how do you deal with your freeze when she's got feedback for you? What are you asking exactly?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I get stuck in this place where it's like I'm doing my best to show up for her, but she senses that I'm still dealing with some fear. I'm not totally present. I maybe feel like a bit of a robot.
Yeah.
I'm reflecting back what she's saying, but I'm not like emotionally connecting to it.
Okay.
And I oscillate between feeling like, oh, I have growth here, or sometimes feeling like I feel like I'm doing the best that I can and this should be good enough.
Do you feel like it's good enough?
I want it to be good enough. Like I want to put myself out there in a way that's showing that I'm trying, and I
Yeah.
feel like, that she can maybe meet me halfway.
Yeah. Okay. It's hard to tell from over here because I don't know you, but I think if you could get clear on you feeling good about how you're showing up, that'll be the biggest lever here. Because if you continually feel in integrity, like God, this, I actually like how I'm showing up. I'm doing pretty damn good. I'm getting feedback from my male friends, and I think I'm showing up pretty strong. And she continues to criticize or feel like it's not enough. Do you want to be in a relationship where you feel that, where you feel criticized and like it's never enough? But if you don't feel like you're showing up and you're questioning yourself, it makes sense that she's questioning you because there's maybe more work to do. Maybe you can do some more healing, more empowerment stuff where it's like, where you can get to a place where it's like, no, I like me here, even though it's hard. I return quickly. I'm always committed to coming back. I take responsibility for my part. Yeah, I'm a little slow because of my nervous system, but I always come back. Like if you can feel good about that and she's still not accepting you, dude, move the fuck on. Right? But she might be showing you where you still have work to do, where you're not accepting yourself and you've got to step up a little more. See what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Yeah. My guess is that it's probably both, depending on the moment.
Yeah.
Like we both have growing to do.
Yeah. Okay. Keep growing then. Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you, Mike. Yeah. Thanks, dude. Jacob. What's up, everybody? Jacob, are you there? You can just unmute yourself. Jacob? Okay. We'll come back to Jacob. Yeah. So just to review here for Mike, it's for the rest of your lives in a partnership, you're going to have feedback coming at you from your partner that we're not doing this right, or we messed up here.
Start video. I don't want to do that.
All right, Jake, I hear you, but I'm just going to keep you muted for a minute. And then I'll come back because I was in the middle of saying something. So for the rest of our life, we're going to get feedback. And again, how much do you like yourself and how you're showing up under stress, particularly around conflict? If you dislike yourself, you have more work to do. If you appreciate that you're putting in a lot of effort and you're doing the reps and you're doing the work and you're constantly learning, you should probably feel good about that. That's awesome. And I would like to be with a partner who is constantly reflecting, self-reflecting and going, yeah, how could I do that better next time? That's what I want to, the kind of person I like surrounding myself with, not someone who's just defensive all the time, right? So, and it takes two people. Two people have to make a relationship work. One can inspire the other person, but two people need to ultimately make it work. Jake, you there? Just unmute yourself. Last call for you, Jake. Okay. By the way, we'll be here if you're on Zoom. Thanks, Jake. I can hear you. You there?
Hey, yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll be here on Zoom on the Zoom call for, 45 minutes or so. You're welcome to step off anytime. No one's, it's no obligation here. Thanks everybody who's following on social. It's really cool to have you here. Okay, Jake, what do you got? Question.
Yeah. I guess kind of what I touched on in the message I sent you there. After my last tour in Iraq, just nothing ever felt normal after I got back. And everything was, I don't know if it was like survivor's guilt or, just all the combinations of PTSD or what, but like I've spent a good part of the last 15 years going to different psychiatrists and therapists and trying to do it, but I could just never let myself actually do it.
Okay.
You know, I would start it and I would just talk myself out of it.
Talk yourself out of what? I'm not following you. Talk yourself out of what?
Just like letting myself actually open up enough
Ah,
to get anything out of it, you know?
got it.
And
You're saying you were kind of guarded. Is that right?
yeah, definitely. I mean,
Okay.
I've definitely experienced a lot of trauma and other things. And I like the beginning where you were talking about, you know, the how 1 in 6 men or boys, you know, have been molested and
Yeah.
gun violence. I've literally experienced everything.
Yeah.
Out of all those things you were talking about in the beginning there, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of that, all of that spills over into my relationship. And,
Of course.
you know, I hate myself for it, honestly, a lot, because I'm, you know, sometimes I say things I don't mean, and I just react sometimes, and it's like, yeah.
So what do you want to? What are you currently doing about it? Your reactivity and are you working on overcoming your fear of opening up?
Trying. I mean, I'm here, you know.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. High five that you're here. You know,
Yeah.
seriously, you're open. You're talking about yourself openly, which is probably an edge for you, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, and thanks for your service, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, PTSD is a tough one, and then if you have childhood trauma on top of PTSD, you know, that's a cocktail that makes it difficult in intimate relationships, right? As you're experiencing. Yeah. So if I'm you, I've got to ask myself, how committed to healing am I to get what I want? And what I want is, let's say, an intimate relationship that's thriving and safe and secure and strong. A lot of us want that, right? What am I willing to do to work on how I'm guarded and my wall and heal some trauma, childhood trauma, maybe the PTSD stuff, which is harder, of course, if you've served in wars. So how committed are you? You know, just right now, like you're showing up right now, which is huge. But how committed are you out there? Like when we hang up this call, how committed are you?
I mean, recently I've been trying not to like jump to anger or.
No, that doesn't answer my question. How committed are you?
I'd say I'm about 60% right now. You know.
Okay,
like,
that's honest. Yeah.
I'm not 100% there yet.
And what do you think keeps you from being 100%? What is that? Fear?
Yeah, I guess.
What are you afraid is going to happen?
You know,
What are you afraid is going to happen?
just a hard reflection of myself and not liking what I see.
Yeah. Being rejected maybe also in that? Or judged?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe left, you know? It's just fear though, right?
I mean, in my relationship, that's not, you know, I have a really good partner, and she's stuck through me with a lot. It's been almost 10 years now.
Wow, dude, that's fucking huge. That's more than a lot of people can say. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't always been great, you know, and that's my fault, but.
I wouldn't, you're a little hard on yourself, Jacob. You know, it takes two people to create relationship problems, not just one.
Yeah.
Consider that, okay? And will you please consider that, you know, you just made the first step in like maybe you're 60%, not, you know, toward 100. Maybe you were 50 and now you're 60, or maybe you're 60 and you're realistically 65. I don't know. But this is the exact kind of thing that I would encourage you to do. Talk openly with people about yourself and about what's going on. It's massive. And if you feel more comfortable with men, you know, you consider men's groups, you could do therapy, you could get a male coach. I don't know. You have to decide what safe looks like for you. And if you have a partner of 10 years that's supporting you and that's good to you, dude, you're very fortunate. And keep learning how to clean up the mess and make it, maybe that would get you to 100% or 90% or 80% is your partner and how awesome she is.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be a great gift, you know, to her, is to open your heart a little more. It's huge.
Yeah.
Cool? Can we pause there so I can get to a couple other people?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for taking a risk today. So cool. Yeah, anyone on Zoom, if you feel like a comment for Jacob there, I'm sure that could be useful. All right, I'm just looking on IG. What's up, IG? Instagram. If there was a question, I can't see one, but I appreciate all of y'all being here. Yeah. If you're just joining us, we are talking about men's issues, and in particular, this last share, being vulnerable, how hard it is and scary it is for some of us men to just open our hearts and be honest and be vulnerable. It's edgy. That was one of the hardest parts of my journey personally, was going from an extremely shut down, closed off man to finally learning how to thaw out the brick wall that was around my heart. It was terrifying. Honestly, it was not fun. But thank God that I'm on the other side of that. And yeah, I still shut down. My heart still closes. Absolutely, I'm normal. But in general, my kids are around a dad has access, right, to his heart, which is so important for children, to see a man that is connected, that's got a heart, that actually cries when shit's hard and gets mad and can clean up a mess if he makes a mess and can take responsibility. And it's enormous. Our children need that. Yeah. Bradford, you've got a question, it looks like.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go.
So I'm just wondering, I am going through a breakup, and I'm sure a lot of people are. And there's always that time after the breakup where you kind of wonder if you should reach out, when you should reach out, and kind of what should be said. The breakup was pretty bad. We were overseas on a trip, and I had been paying for everything, and she left on her own accord, buying her own ticket, even though I promised to buy her a ticket. And I just have wondered so much it's been 2 months, and I just wonder if the respectful thing is respecting this space that she desires, or expressing my apologies and what I've learned from it.
So what's your question?
Pretty much, do I respect her space, or do I reach out and share my apology and express kind of like what I've learned from it?
What do you want to do?
I mean, I want to reach out and express how I feel about it, because I also care about her and would love to be with her, but I also want to respect her boundaries.
How long has she not communicated with you? How long's it been?
Since like December 10th, and I sent Merry Christmas. And
What is she communicating with her silence to you, do you think? If you could read between the lines, what is she actually saying to you?
I don't want to speak, clearly.
Yeah. To who?
To me.
Yeah. I don't want to speak to you. I'm not interested. Yeah. So is that the kind of person you want to be with?
No, but then I wonder, in the kind of gender roles, if it's part of my responsibility to, when it's step up. I mean, I do feel
No,
like
it has nothing to do with gender, man. It's up to two adults to make a relationship work. It doesn't matter their gender. Two adults make a relationship work who are mature, responsible, and who communicate. Period. End of story.
Yeah, I guess I want to take responsibility for what I did.
Then do it. Then do that.
And in a message, is that in a message or in silence?
I don't get how you do that in silence, but look, we all have to make choices. But if a lot of us are in relationships with people, or breakups, or the relationship that never happened, with people that don't want to talk to us, we have to look in the mirror, if that's us, if this is you, in this case, Bradford. What does it say about me that I want to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't want anything to do with me? What does that say about me? What can I learn about myself? And how can I get empowered and go on a journey here and use this carnage and this pain and this breakup to learn about myself, value myself, appreciate who I am? Because right now you're definitely not doing that.
So if I was in it 100% to grow and become fully the best version of myself, what steps would I take in order to do so?
You would look in the mirror and start busting your ass and learning about yourself. And you wouldn't stop. And you would read every book. You would ask questions like that you are right now. And you would find guides and resources to help you get in yourself more. Because you're in your wound right now.
And some might call that selfish.
Who gives a shit what other people think about that?
Yeah.
Who cares? Fuck other people. This is your journey, man.
Yeah. Last question is, if I do have to go and I want to join the men's group, how is that possible?
There's a link. I'll just drop it right now. Unless Josh, if you're here, you can drop it. And then I'm going to talk about that later.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bradford. Yeah, good stuff there. Really appreciate you guys. Okay, we're going to transition to just Zoom. And I'm going to see if, I don't think I can, give me a second, you folks on like Instagram, for example. I'm going to see if I can give you the Zoom link somehow. Passcode is live, is what it's called. Passcode live. All right. I'll do that here in a second. Anyone else have a question that identifies as a male? Ryan.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Could be better,
Okay.
if I'm being honest.
Okay.
So, I've been going through a lot of inner work for the last few months, and it's getting to a point where realizing childhood traumas and getting to a point where I'm having a really hard time basically containing that when I need to be able to focus on other stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you have any ideas or suggestions for being able to like not completely separate from the feelings that are basically trying to overtake me.
Yeah.
But how to satiate that feeling while I'm supposed to be at work managing my crew of 60 guys doing whatever I do.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. You're basically saying I've got some childhood trauma coming up, and it's getting in the way of me focusing, right?
Yeah. So I'm actively going to therapy, actively working on myself within that, like the childhood trauma, relationship stuff, like the whole nine, like
Yeah.
like
Awesome.
it's the same with everybody else. Like heavily avoided in my past relationships. Realizing now where it's like basically midlife crisis thing where it's like I gotta fucking change. I got a kid. I need to show him better, and this is where I'm at right now. But with this process, I'm finding it hard to get that regulation. So I'm just trying to figure out if you have any ideas.
Yeah, you're saying you're dysregulated, right?
Yes.
Like more often than you'd like to be.
Yes.
Yeah, and you want to get regulated because it's disrupting your life.
Yeah, like I still want to be doing the work.
Yep.
And get through these traumas and everything. It's just the dysregulation is overtaking daily life stuff.
Totally. Okay. Are you doing any kind of? You're going to therapy, which is huge. Are you doing any kind of mindfulness practice?
Yeah. So
like, what are you trying to get regulated?
The mindfulness is one thing. I'm doing daily meditations as well, which can lead down the shadow work path. But mainly it's for being present in the moment, trying to stay focused with what I have, having these feelings, observing them, but then they get stuck there. And instead of just observing and allowing them to pass through, you know?
Yeah, I'm hearing part of your dysregulation. That's really astute awareness on your part. Part of the dysregulation is you're going into a feeling or a sensation, if I hear you right, and you're getting stuck, right? You're not like riding a wave and allowing it to sort of move through you. Somewhere in that cycle, you're getting hooked or stopped.
Correct.
Okay, and is it that you're going into your mind and ruminating and thinking about it, or is it that you're getting lost and feel like you're getting swallowed in the feeling, or what?
It's more being swallowed.
Okay, and what are you afraid is going to happen if you get swallowed by the feelings?
Well, get stuck with it and revert back to how I was.
And
It's my
okay,
fear.
yeah, and is it also a fear that you, because you have a big job responsibility, that you're going to let people down, not be able to hold your job down?
Oh yeah, they're going into the whole self-worth stuff as well.
Okay.
It's completely relevant.
All right. If I was working with you, I would be helping you learn how to process emotions differently, because I'm hearing that the way you're processing emotion and sensation is getting hijacked by something.
Yeah.
Could be your fear. It could be that simple, right? And that's very common and not fun, but common. And it's like you got to get better at just feeling the sensation and feeling the emotion and riding it like a wave. Because, I mean, most of us, look, none of us like really feeling stuff, feeling discomfort. It's just kind of a human thing. But if we can get good at feeling discomfort as a wave and riding it, we'll find out on the other side that it actually isn't worse. It doesn't swallow us. In fact, we feel usually better afterwards. And more connected to ourselves, more available to our kid or our partner, the people that we work with. So I would encourage you to either get a new therapist or get your therapist to help you get really good at this.
Yeah.
Look, I want to just feel my feelings and get very good at that and writing them so I'm not terrified of them and I'm not shutting them down. I'm not getting lost in them. I want to do pure emotion, pure sensation, and just get good at that. And an SE practitioner, a trauma practitioner, typically a good one, can help you with that. That's one idea. Your therapist might be a total badass and you guys are just talking about something else. Like I would focus on this.
Oh, that's totally fair. Yeah, like he is working with me on the childhood and the trauma stuff and working through these emotions and guiding me though, right? So when I start doing it on my own, it's just like,
yeah, it's too much.
Yeah,
I would go slower. Honestly, I would go slower. I mean, look, I want to hit the fast forward button in my growth a lot, and I would just slow it down. And shuttle between the resource. Yeah, shuttle between how resourced you are and you want to get really good at being resourced in the midst of all the stuff that's coming up for you. So shuttle between resource and negative sort of emotion or sensation. That's essentially trauma work.
No, that's totally fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Glad to have you here, man. Manuel, I'm going to call you on here in a second. I'm just going to say goodbye to our Instagram listeners and our YouTubers, Facebookers. Thanks for being here, everybody. We're moving to Zoom for our men's. We're going to do more of a kind of a men's group here for the last little bit for anyone that wants to stick around. Thanks again, everybody on social, for hanging out with us. All right, Manuel, do you want to unmute yourself?